What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the TF Movie Show. This is just a web series where we're talking about the Transformers live action movie franchise. This is episode number 51, and in this episode, we're here to talk about a rumor. I hate talking about rumors. I especially hate dedicating an entire episode about a rumor in the Transformers live action movie franchise because a lot of the times, what I have to talk about with regards to this rumor gets the viewers so excited and then they misinterpret it into fact. And as a result of that, they start sharing it on social media and then it spreads like a virus. And that becomes a problem. And that creates complete and total annoyance. It's annoying to constantly see the same rumor again and again and again, which is not true on your news feed. So we're here to put an end to this. We're going to stop this rumor. We're going to debunk it. We're going to talk about it, but we're going to do rumor control. We're here to control this before it gets out of hand and becomes a global pandemic amongst the Transformers fandom. A fandemic, if you will. We're going to stop this pandemic from spreading anymore. So, just to give you a little bit of backstory regarding why we're talking about this rumor, over the last 7 or 10 days, I've been receiving tweets, direct messages about Michael Bay confirmed to direct Transformers 6 Rise of Unicron. I didn't even know what to say to that. In fact, I didn't know what to say so much that I didn't even respond to it. I didn't tweet back. I didn't respond to the direct message. What I did, it was just, I ignored it and deleted it. And that was it. That was done. But then I kept on getting more tweets of the same thing again and again. There's no link to it. There's no source. It's just a statement that it's confirmed. And really, I just didn't know what to do with this information or this rumor or this statement. It's just completely false. And I really didn't need to discuss it any further with the person who tweeted it at me or sent me the direct message because there's nothing to talk about. It's just not happening. Now, I can see the excitement in all of this because the people who are sending this to me are probably wanting Michael Bay to come back. And I could see, why one would want that to happen or why one would believe that, because maybe you're a huge fan of the Michael Bay last 5 films or the first 5 films in Transformers franchise and you want to see this happen. And the other reason why you would think that this would happen is because Michael Bay, if you don't already know, in the history of making these Transformers sequels, has known to not want to direct a Transformers sequel and then end up directing them. Okay? So that has happened many, many times in the past. And that's a very legitimate reason for you to believe that he's going to come back to direct Transformers 6, The Rise of Unicron. How original. Now, before we begin doing rumor control, I will just say this. I'm guilty of talking about rumors, spending a lot of time discussing them, speculating on them, and sharing them. But I've also talked about facts. And I've also discussed speculation as speculation. I've put in my own speculation, and at the end of the day, it's fun to talk about. And well, over the course of the last 10 years, I've been doing these videos because I've been doing these videos for 10 years now, since 2010. I felt that, I think I should be a little bit more responsible because with great power comes great responsibility. Just like in Spider-Man. I've seen that I've been gaining a lot of followers. I've seen that a lot of people like to listen to what I have to say, and I've seen that people have been sharing my videos. And because of that, I really should, I should really be more responsible in the things that I talk about. And over the course of these videos, you will see that I am more responsible. I cite my sources. I discuss speculation as merely speculation. I add to that speculation, but I don't state that speculation as actually happening. These are just merely my personal expressions, and I clearly state that rumor is rumor, but I will provide my opinion about that rumor, and then I will clearly state that this is rumor, and this is news, and this is where the news came from. And that's how I continue to strive for the future of my videos. I want it to be more like that in responsible reporting. Okay? With that being said, let's talk about this rumor. Let's spend some time talking about it, and then let's just debunk it. But first, I'd like to give you a history lesson of where this all began. Okay? And where this all began, I mean that where this thing about Michael Bay not wanting to do a Transformers sequel and then end up doing it began. It all started with, of course, the first film. The success of the first film made like $700 million worldwide. And then there was something called the High Definition Wars. Now, if you don't know what that is, let me give you a brief retelling of it. High Definition Wars. Toshiba had just put out HD DVD, a high definition format, and Sony had just put out Blu-ray, another high definition format, and they were battling. Certain studios opted to release their movies on HD DVD, and other studios decided to opt to release their movies on Sony's Blu-ray, and other studios decided to release them on both formats. Paramount ended up releasing Michael Bay's Transformers film on HD DVD, not Sony Blu-ray. And Sony Blu-ray is actually the superior format. Michael Bay was not happy about this, and here's what he had to say. I want people to see my movies in the best formats possible. For them to deny people who have Blu-ray sucks. They were progressive by having two formats, no Transformers 2 for me. So basically what he's saying that because you guys, and by you guys I mean Paramount, decided to release it only on one format, the inferior format, I'm not going to make the next Transformers film for you guys. So he see that he has value as a director in helping the studio make money, which is entirely true. And so eventually the HD or the high definition wars ended. Sony won. Toshiba HD DVD became obsolete and discontinued. And then Sony Blu-ray is now the format. So Transformers ended up being released on Blu-ray, and Michael Bay ended up directing Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Was that his last Transformers sequel? Everybody knows that it's not. After 3.5 years I've been making these movies, I feel like I've had enough of the Transformers world. I need to do something totally divergent, something without any explosions. Good luck with that. He ended up directing Transformers Dark of the Moon. Bay confirms Transformers 3 is his last Sentinel Prime in film. It was a very tough thing to make a movie under those circumstances. Did not want the third one to suck. That's all he had to say. So he ended up making, a better sequel. In my opinion, I enjoyed Dark of the Moon way more than Revenge of the Fallen, and he claims that that is his last film. Well, we all know where that went. But now here's the interesting part about this. Between Transformers 1, Revenge of the Fallen, and Dark of the Moon, there was always a 2-year gap. Just went right on to making the next one. This one, there was a little bit of time, like a little bit more time, a 3-year gap, and here's what happened. Well, Michael Bay will probably direct Transformers 4, not entirely sure yet, but he didn't put it off the table. He said, hey, but last night it opened in America and did somewhere like $50 million. Now in movie speak, $50 million in one day on a Wednesday, that's freaking awesome. So we're talking about it, but there's nothing right now. I'm going to do a tiny movie first, then we'll talk about it if I potentially do it. Now, what movie is he talking about? What small movie is he talking about? He's talking about Pain and Gain. Despite the rumors saying that he's still interested to helm the upcoming Transformers films, Bay claims that he wants to focus on his passion project, Pain and Gain. I'm currently not talking to Paramount on T4 and T5 despite reports. I'm looking at a lot of possibilities coming my way right now, weighing options. So what happened is that Paramount and Michael Bay ended up signing a first look 2-year deal with or 2-movie deal with Paramount. So he would end up directing 2 films. One of them is Pain and Gain. The other one ended up being Transformers Age of Extinction. Now what's very interesting is that Michael Bay was quoted, and I can't find the quote for this. I looked all over the internet for this quote, but I remember him saying that he ended Dark of the Moon with a bang. He ended it in such a way that a new director would have to reboot it. That's how he wanted it to end. And it made a lot of sense. If you look at the ending of Dark of the Moon, it doesn't really seem like there's any way to, well, I mean, of course there's a way to continue it, and he ended up doing it, but he wanted it's ending in a way where it's done. Cybertron was destroyed, and then, a lot of characters died, and then that was that. But we saw what happened, okay? So here's what happened. Transformers 4, Age of Extinction. Transformers 4 is the beginning of a new trilogy. We had 3, the first trilogy, and this is going to be the next one. It's the first of a new trilogy. I'm not necessarily sure that I'm doing the others, but that's what it's meant for. Interesting. So then we end up having Transformers Last Night later on, but before that, there had to be a new deal. So Paramount and Michael Bay extended another first look deal, or extended the current first look deal for another 2 movies. He ended up directing another passion project of his, 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, great film by the way, and then Transformers Last Night. Paramount decides having Michael Bay stick around is a good idea. And then here's what he had to say. Here's what Lorenzo de Bonaventura said. Michael's going to direct it, and it'll be summer of 2014. We'll be releasing it then, and I think the challenge there is we really are going to do a reboot there, and what that's going to be, we don't know yet. And with regards to the cast, no, it's so silly. We got to get a story first. You can't pick characters until you have a story. It's a funny thing. It's not what I perceive Spider-Man to be, just redoing of the whole thing. It's not that. It's an evolution. There's still continuity that's going on. There will be a lot of new cast. Whether there's anyone from the first, we don't know yet. The truth is there's going to be a whole new story. The characters that will come along will be Optimus and Bumblebee. And here's what Michael Bay had to say. There have been a lot of speculation about what I'm going to do next and when or if I will do another Transformers, so let me set the record straight. I have just concluded a deal with Paramount to do 2 movies, but it won't be 2 Transformers. I will do first Pain and Gain and with Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, then I will do the next Transformers for release on June 29th, 2014. So here we go again. Not going to direct it, now we're going to direct it. And then in August of 2014, Michael Bay plans to pass Transformers 5 director duties to another filmmaker. Bay, 49, believes he will pass the baton for future Transformers movies to a new director while he turns his focus elsewhere. There's kind of a new chapter, a new direction in movies that I want to make. I have a lot of stories to tell, and it's about flexing new muscles. They're so freaking hard to make. They're hard. 4,000 people worked on Age of Extinction, and it's every day for 2 years, 7 days a week. How long can you do Transformers? You know what I'm saying? And after you see this movie, you think, well, what the hell am I going to do next? Okay. So Michael Bay is done with Transformers. No sequel to Last Night. I think Michael Bay has made it really clear that he loved what he did, and he's not doing any more. So I think the answer is we're writing a script, and at that point, once we get script we have strong belief in, then we'll begin to debate that. Michael's made it really clear that he didn't want to do it. I don't blame him. He spent a hell of a decade of his life shooting them. Now, what Lorenzo de Bonaventura didn't do is that he didn't confirm that Michael Bay's not coming back. He just clearly repeated what Michael Bay said, and that is Michael Bay said that he didn't want to do them, and he's very clear on that, and that's that, okay? But he never said that it is not happening, okay? And then here's what Michael Bay had to say officially on his website. It's bittersweet for me. With every Transformers film, I said it would be my last. I see the 120 million fans around the world who see these movies, the huge theme park lines to the ride, and the amazing Make-A-Wish kids who visit my sets. And it somehow keeps drawing me back. I love doing these movies. This film was especially fun to shoot, but this time might really be it. So I'm blowing this one out. Might be it does not mean it will be it. But I'm still not saying that, that's that. I'm just clearly stating that these are some really strong words. But then again, what he said before were some pretty strong words. However, Mark Wahlberg doesn't believe Michael Bay is done with Transformers. I mean, that's just the Michael that I know. But you never know. Sometimes people decide to move on. So we'll see what happens. So there you have it. Okay, I've given you a little bit of a history lesson about Michael Bay's kind of bipolar attitude about these films, about not wanting to direct and suddenly ends up directing. There's something that keeps on pulling him back, and it's a lot of things. His relationship with Paramount Pictures, the bags of money that they throw at him, and of course the opportunity to exercise his right to express himself, and that is with lots and lots of explosions, sexy women, fast cars, and just Paramount giving him the freedom to do whatever he wants, regardless of the result. Okay, now we saw what happened with Transformers Last Night. Every single film had a increasing box office result, but with a huge dip with The Last Night. Now that could be it for Michael Bay, and I'm saying that I think and I truly believe that is it for Michael Bay with his Transformers saga. It's done for him. I really believe that. Now, with that being said, where did this rumor come from? These tweets, these direct messages to me cited no source. So I'm thinking, why are people suddenly talking about this? Why, for the last 7 to 10 days, am I constantly being received these messages? Is it just one person who said this and they decided to tell their own network, and this network happens to all follow me and they decide to just tweet this at me? Is that what happened? Where did this come from? So I just thought to myself, okay, let's just do some research. And research I did. And before I found the website that actually talked about this, I thought to myself, there's only one website that could report this rumor as fact. And that is a website called WeGotThisCovered.com. And let me tell you about this website. They are the worst website in fandom, in movie fandom. And that is because they keep on reporting rumors and speculation as fact. And you should see their headlines. They clearly state that, this is happening, when in fact it's just something that they conjured up. The editors just maybe had a slow news day and decided to conjure this up to create a discussion. And what does discussion mean? More click dollars. When you click an ad, you see all these advertisements, that equates to money. So they just keep on creating headlines to make you want to read the article. And these articles are easily affecting people who want to see these things happen. So let me just pull up the article right here. Michael Bay reportedly wants to return to Transformers, could direct Transformers 3. What are we talking about? Why are we even talking about Bumblebee 3? We don't even have a Bumblebee 2, and now they're talking about Bumblebee 3. So right away, I can tell you that there's so many things wrong with this article. This article goes on for another 5 paragraphs, and what is being talked about in these 5 paragraphs? Now, if you look at it, you can clearly see this is all speculation. There is not a single source that is cited in this. And also, they spent a lot of time just telling us what we already know, such as there's a Toy Story, or there's a animated prequel from Toy Story 4 director. There's a Beast Wars adaptation. There's this talk of a reboot, and just telling us facts about the films. But there's probably only 1 or 2 lines talking about that Michael Bay wants to come back. And for what? Bumblebee 3. Where did that even come from? That's just something they pulled out of the rear end. So that's just silly. Now get this, upon searching for, or researching for this whole nonsense article, I found this. Lady Bird star reportedly eyed to lead the Transformers reboot. Okay, I'm thinking like, where did this come from? I'm only reading it here, nowhere else, okay? So Lady Bird star is Lucas Hedges. At least that's what they claim in this this article. By the way, I saw Lady Bird, great film. One of my favorite films of that year. But anyways, Lucas Hedges is reportedly eyed to lead Transformers reboot. Let me just read one of these paragraphs. If that wasn't enough, there's also a live-action reboot in the works that will erase all of Bay's movies from canon and spearhead the rebranded Transformers, and we've now heard that Lady Bird star Lucas Hedges being eyed for the lead role of Spike Witwicky. Where did he get this? As you may remember, Shia LaBeouf played a similarly named Sam Witwicky in the original, but his character was modeled on Spike, blah, 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 blah. Of course, Hedges has recently established himself one of the fastest rising young talents in the business with Golden Globe. Okay, ironically, he also played a fictionalized version of LaBeouf in the latter's biographical drama Honey Boy, and could now end up mirroring his career if he ends up signing on to headline a Transformers movie. So like I said before, not a single source, and what they've created, which was proven in this final paragraph, is that this was merely speculation. Well, he played Shia LaBeouf in his own biographical picture. He might as well play a version of Sam Witwicky, or continue to play Sam Witwicky, or Spike Witwicky, whatever you want to call him. That's just silly. They just came up with this stuff, and that's how they end up with these articles. Okay, so right now I've already partly squashed the rumor. Okay, now I'm gonna make this squashing of the rumor more solid. Okay, all you gotta do is look up what is Michael Bay working on next. Okay, so here we go. The Variety reports this, and by the way, Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, The Wrap, these are all credible sources which cite their sources and all talk about news, not rumors, not speculation. Okay, let's see what it has to say. Michael Bay sets 6 Underground Robopocalypse as next 2 films. This is an exclusive to Variety. This was reported back in 2018. And it says Michael Bay looks to have found not one, but his next 2 films to work on, as sources tell Variety, has lined up 6 Underground and Robopocalypse as his next 2 projects. Now, 6 Underground has already been made. It's already out on Netflix. And then there's Robopocalypse. Now, what is that? Following 6 Underground, Bay is also in talks to reunite with Steven Spielberg, who handpicked him to direct Transformers to bring Robopocalypse to life. Based on a science fiction novel by Daniel H. Wilson, the film is set after a robot uprising. At one point, Spielberg intended to helm Robopocalypse, but scheduling conflicts forced him to continue to push it off. The iconic director says he has always been fascinated by Robopocalypse, but has been not able to find time to direct it himself. The handoff makes Bay the perfect fit, since it was Spielberg who handpicked him to take over the Transformers franchise as well. So there you have it. Now, keep in mind, this was back in 2018. Currently, I don't even know what Michael Bay is working on. I'm assuming he's working on Robopocalypse, but there hasn't been any talk about that, so therefore anything can change. However, this is probably part of another deal that was signed by him, right? But let's just look up some more recent news about Michael Bay's career, okay? This is from The Wrap. This was reported on March 30th of 2020, so not that long ago. Michael Bay signs first look film and TV deal with Sony Pictures. Up next, Bay will direct Sony's Black 5, an ensemble drama based on his own original idea. Aaron Kruger, who wrote 3 of Bay's Transformers movies, is writing the script for the film. So there you have it. Okay, we got 6 Underground, which is already done, Robopocalypse, and Black 5. Black 5 is something that was an original idea of his, based on which is going to be written by a writer that he's already worked with. And not only that, since it is his original idea, it's also a passion project. It is a project that he came up with that he wants to work on, and the studio that's going to work with him is Sony Pictures, a studio that has worked with him in both Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2, both of which he directed. So there you have it. What is Michael Bay working on? Not Transformers 6, not Rise of Unicron, and definitely not Bumblebee 3. So, there's not much more I have to say. For those that are sharing these rumors, you can go ahead and share these rumors, but at least cite the source. If you don't cite the source, then it's just annoying. Now, if you do end up sharing the source, and it ends up being wegotdiscovered.com, please don't send it to me. And for that matter, please don't share it with anybody else, because at this point they know that wegotdiscovered.com is full of it. All right? So there you have it. I spent a lot of time talking about this, but I think it's actually very, very important for some people to know and to distinguish between what is a credible article and what is not. And if you're going to receive news from somebody, ask them to cite their source. And if you want a film to really, really happen, look at the details and see, can it really happen before you start talking about it. It's okay to express yourself in how much you really want it to happen, but there's also something called beating a dead horse, okay? Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this episode. Michael Bay is not directing Transformers 6, The Rise of Unicron. You can ask that himself, and he will tell you that he's not working on that, okay? Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed watching it, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, the Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.